Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fire Up. And I am so fired up. Look at the full room I got tonight. I got all these fine gentlemen joining me. Oh, I'm in heaven, guys.
I was looking for a fine gentleman. No, good evening, gent and lady.
Good evening.
All
What's
right. Hello, Eddie. Good to see you.
So are you guys getting to work the game or what?
No.
I meant to ask you backstage, but I didn't get a chance to.
We did not get credentialed for the game. We get week of, so we can go to all the other events. We just didn't get into the game, but we're still trying to work our angles to see if we can possibly swing it somehow. But it's okay. So I think we're headed down. The real unusual part of it is all of the events are downtown Miami, not where Hard Rock is. Hard Rock is in Miami Gardens, but all of the events for the game are actually downtown Miami. So I think we are headed down there on Sunday to cover some of the coaches.
Are you gonna? You should set up like a StreamYard and let people come on and talk on the StreamYard and just do a live event all day long.
I don't know if you can do that during their actual event, but yeah, maybe in between I could see that. Yes.
I don't know the credentials.
I'm ready. You give me some live, I'm ready, baby. I'll do it.
Just give you a microphone.
Just think you're live from the national championship on your StreamYard. I'm sure that would get so much to watch because you never know who's going to walk by, who you're going to see.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like Super Bowl row or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
This truck has made my face completely like it's sunburned today. I am not. Maybe I'm windburned. I'm not sure.
It probably is windburn.
Probably, yep.
In that cold. Yeah, that cold was better today here.
Yeah, it's like 12 degrees here.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's supposed to be like 39 well, our low that it says is 42. Now, mind you, we are almost at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. For us to get that cold, it's pretty cold.
I know. Guys, when I stayed down there, I had frost. I had frost one morning, and it just threw me off. I was like, "Am I home?"
Mm-hmm.
It happened when I lived in Tampa.
So
that just throws you off completely.
Speaking of the college football playoffs, who do we think is going to win? Who's going to take it? Miami on their home turf, or Indiana's going to complete the thing that's never been done before, undefeated throughout season and college football playoffs? Samir, who do you got?
I really don't know if anyone can beat Indiana right now. I just feel like they're hitting on all cylinders. I know a lot of people here or in the state are not going to be happy with me when I say this, but I think Curt Cignetti is right now the best coach in college football. So I think like when you consider what he inherited and how quickly it's turned into this, I think that's the best argument right now. But I think the advantage Miami has is their front seven, their defense, especially their front seven, is really good. So if they can get Ruben Bain and whoever else, they can get after Mendoza and maybe disrupt their offense, they have a chance. But I think right now I have to give it to Indiana.
Scott, who do you got?
I'm not going against the Canes. I can't. They go against Carson Beck. I have to stay with them. Carson Beck has won 2 national championships as a backup, and he's played some money ball here in the playoffs. He really has. So if the Miami defense does what I think they can do and be disruptive, there'll be one thing, but you can't go against the team you're working with. And even if I did want to, I wouldn't, because I've seen this team grow over the last few years. That's for sure. And hard to go against them now. And I've been staying on them throughout the whole playoffs. There's no way I'm going to change my mind.
So Eddie says Miami has had problems with mobile quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, I mean that was why they beat up Ohio State. Zayn is a statue. He makes Jared Goff look athletic.
That's funny.
So Jeremy, who do you got?
As much as I hate to say it, I agree with Samir. You got the Heisman winner in Mendoza that's playing at another level. You got guys at every level of that defense making plays. D'Angelo Pond, Aiden Fisher, and they've got a couple of really good bookends themselves. I Miami is different. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I don't think that either team blows each other out. I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last wins. But I think it's going to end up being Indiana in that position.
Adam, who do you got?
I'm taking the U.
Okay.
Only because I watched this highlight today, and it's from 2001, and that team was so stacked. It was unreal. So I was like, all right, that's my sign. That was the first thing I saw this morning. I was like, well, I'm going for, I'm a Miami fan to begin with, but I'm taking the U. I think Carson Beck comes back this week.
Okay.
He doesn't make any dumb mistakes like he's made.
Samir, I will go back to something that you said. You talked about the Hoosiers. The Hoosiers have just 2 Big Ten titles, 3 bowl wins in 127 seasons of football. Cignetti became the 23rd head coach in the program history 2 years ago. Not one of the previous 22 left the job with a winning record. That's how bad Indiana football has been. We've talked about it numerous times how Indiana was a basketball school. Bobby Knight, all the teams. So it'll be
Bobby
interesting.
Knight throwing the chair across the floor.
Well, keep in mind too that Lee Corso of Game Day coached there for a period of time as well, and Jerry Gennaro I think did as well. So a couple of credible coaches. Just tough to win there. Cignetti's getting a statue. Corso didn't do that badly when he was there, but yeah, there's no question that Cignetti's in a class by himself.
So it'll be interesting. And Miami stands in the way of the first perfect season in the 12-team playoff era, a first national championship for Indiana, and perhaps the most unbelievable turnaround in the history of college sports.
It already is, in my opinion. Just the fact that they're there the second year under Cignetti is huge.
It's unheard of, pretty much.
Normally, normally when you're turning around a program that's been a bottom feeder, it's 3 to 4 years before they sniff this type of success. And he did it year 1, and now here he is in the playoffs and in the catbird seat, as they call it in tournament play, because he's in the chair. He was the first seed. He never fell off. This is also the first time that one of the bye week teams has went all the way to the national championship, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it without a single 5-star recruit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
I think the highest one is the 4-star, and that is Mendoza, right? And Aiden Fisher was a 4-star recruit on the defensive side, I believe.
Well, I mean, Mendoza was a transfer.
Right, but that's it. And he was just a 4-star recruit himself as a transfer, is what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, Miami has a chance to be the first team ever to win the national championship in its home stadium. That's number 1. But number 2, however, let's go back into history books a little, because I covered this university back in the early 80s when Howard Schnellenberger was there. The Miami Hurricanes won the national championship in the Orange Bowl when they defeated the Nebraska Cornhuskers. A lot had to go right for them to do that, but that's when they actually, in the 82 Orange Bowl, I remember Bernie Kosar and company. It was an unbelievable season. We lost to the Florida Gators early that year. The only blemish we had, won them all, and then ended up beating Nebraska, which we were big time underdog. But Tom Osborne elected to go for 2 instead of the tie, and Miami came away with the win. So they could win another championship in South Florida by virtue of the Orange Bowl. But again, this time it's more noted with the college football playoff and so forth to be able to come away with that. Just thought I'd throw a little trivia at you. But that was a great. Coach Howard Schnellenberger to me has always been like a father figure and a mentor for me. And rest in peace, Coach Schnellenberg. I love you. You've meant a lot to me and taught me a lot.
No, thank you. Of course. So we're torn. So it looks like that. I don't think that's too much of a spread. I think
at the most you'll see maybe an 8-point win by a team, because these teams are actually very evenly matched. They both are good at disrupting the other quarterback. It's going to be who folds more. But I do think Indiana wins it. That's just me.
I'll tell you what, though, Indiana's made Oklahoma look bad, and they made Oregon look like duck soup. So beating them heavily by double figures. I mean, I agree it'll be closer, but let's face it, they're making everything look awfully easy right now, especially in the playoff.
Oh, yeah.
Has Indiana gone against a defense that's as big and as physical as Miami, though?
I don't think they have.
They haven't, but they did during the regular season because they faced OSU. They did face some big, foreboding defenses. And granted, it was a low-scoring affair. They still came out on top. And that's mostly because Sayan started throwing out picks like Halloween candy, and he was on his back. When you're throwing at the sky, you don't know who you're throwing to.
So Eddie thinks 31-23. Okay, Miami hasn't.
Hey, Steve, if you're as good of a mock drafter as you say you are, you should reach out to us. Maybe I'll bring you on, depending on if Jeremy has any openings on one of our shows. How does that sound, Jeremy? You can make that alliance happen.
Steve is a very knowledgeable Packers fan, so Candy's going to love him immediately. But
so there you go, Steve.
He's been on my show talking football quite a few times, and he's realistic. And
all right, so we'll bring him on, Steve. I'll contact Candy and Jeremy. I'll find a place to put you. I got a good football inventory, I'm gonna tell you. And don't worry, Adam, I'm waiting to get you on one of these shows, brother. I tell you one thing, I'm building a depth chart that is a really good one, and with all the group in here, it's good to be able to come in this show once in a blue moon. So, Steve, reach out to us, man. You can follow us at Tribune South on Twitter, then send me a direct message, and we'll see if we can get this rolling, or go to Jeremy any way you want. All right? Please keep that in mind.
Steve, write to me, and I will forward your information. If you've got a Gmail, Smoking Jeremy B at Gmail.
We'll work them in the rotation. Always looking for good talent out there. I found Jeremy out of a company that's defunct, and we turned him into a journalist. It's not the worst thing in the world in my book.
What was funny is, I had Dom DeRubis on as a guest, and that was when I was a part of a different podcast. That was before I was in the process of starting my own. And I was watching you guys, and you were talking specifically, because it was getting towards the end of the season, the difference between Matt Patricia and Dan Campbell, and I put in the chat my nickname for Matt Patricia, and every single one of you laughed so hard that you messaged me after the show. You ever done any writing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember Dom's unceremonious exit from our channel for sure. He definitely found a way to weed his way out of our rotation.
Well, Steve, you and I will get along at least on the NFL side, because yes, the Packers are my team. So definitely get in touch with us. We're glad to have you on.
I shake my head every time I see that Notre Dame thing. Notre Dame.
I can tell Jeremy enjoyed my analogy about weed his way out of our rotation. He picked up on that one. Great job, Ballrick.
Speaking of another Packer fan, Jason just texted me, and he's like, Jason just texted me, and he goes, yes, we got Cal. So he's excited.
One last thing.
Steve, looking forward to getting to know you, pal.
One other thing, Steve, you were a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. Miami does play there next year, and we are hoping to get up there and get credentialed for that game. So the U will be playing at Notre Dame. So
I have a quick question. Has anyone been arrested from Miami in the past 2 seasons that's still on the team?
I don't know. I didn't look at those records. I'm too busy looking at other records.
It would be nice if we could resurrect the Catholics versus convicts.
I was waiting for you to go there.
Steve, I've been a Packer fan longer than that. So but I'll
Hey,
gladly
Steve, just do me a favor. If you're on Twitter, follow us at Tribune South. We'll get you in the rotation. Candy's got a built-in ally, and I got plenty of football inventory to bring you on. Don't worry. Follow us, subscribe to our channel, and follow me on Tribune South, and we'll definitely get you out here and talking. Leave it to
I
you.
definitely, Steve, I need the help because Jeremy and Scott are both Lions people, so I need a second Packers fan that to be.
Then you got the Falcons and Steelers here, so you got all sorts of hate coming your way.
I can bring,
Steve.
I can bring Jason. I can get Jason on here for you. He's a Packers fan.
There
yes,
we go.
you did.
But
you
but
did
but he's a Dodgers guy. He lives in Fresno.
We'll get you in there, Steve. Just stay in touch and go through the process. All right, pal. Follow us on Twitter and contact Candy and YouTube. You'll be in business.
Oh.
I got a lot of other people I'm looking to add to our rotation, and I'll divulge at a later date. I'm just coming on as a guest, but I seem to be talking a little bit more than I should. Go ahead, Candy. Back in the country club.
Oh, he's a Yankees guy too. Okay. We've got other people that are in that corner, but let's move to the NFL.
And you sound like one of the few that are a Packers fan and a Brewers fan. Everyone that's a Packers fan has a different baseball team.
Yeah, she actually is a Brewers fan.
I am Brewers and Bucks. I'm a true Wisconsin girl. So yep.
So she's just like me in Michigan here. If our team's out of the playoffs, we have to go to the other conference or division or whatever just to be able to take somebody, because I refuse to root for a team on my side of the thing that I have so much hate for.
And don't let her confuse you with that Wisconsin girl. She's an Indiana girl too, by the way. She's a Hoosier. She was born in Indiana.
So, Candy,
this guy is all over the map.
Who are you taking between my?
He is all over the map.
There we go, Candy. Who are you taking between Miami and Indiana?
Oh, there you go.
That one's tough. That one.
You hate me right now because I put you on the spot.
And the Canadians fan. This guy is wild. He's all over the place.
He is all over the map.
Packers, Yankees, Lakers, Montreal. All over the place. I love it.
That is crazy.
Oh, please don't tell me you're a LeBum fan too, Steve.
He's a Lakers fan. So.
The flop.
But yeah, let's move into the NFL.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Buffalo Bills versus the Broncos. The first game up Saturday.
Congratulations, Bills. You won your first road playoff game versus the Jags. The road playoff win stopped here. That defense is way too nasty. The Bills defense still tends to give up a lot of rushing yards, even when it's a plethora of different guys running. They did give up over 100 yards to the Jags. RJ Harvey is a different style of runner than the guys that they faced with the Jaguars. I think that this is the game where they take over, because Denver does those long, plodding, they're slow starting offense and a dominating, disruptive defense. They like to dominate the clock. They'll take a 18-play, 10-minute drive to score 3 points and gas your defense so bad. And Bills are a fast-paced offense. They're gonna get their defense gassed before the fourth quarter, and the usual thing that happens in Denver will happen. The other defense gets gassed, they start scoring points and bunts.
Adam, what's your take?
I'm going Bills. I think this is Josh Allen. He realizes there's no other big names, like super big names in this thing, and I believe the NFL, wants to see him. I think it's going to be Bills, and but we'll get to that one later. But I think the Bills pulled this upset in Denver this weekend.
Samir, who you got?
I'm going with Denver. Even in the win last week, the Bills are still what they are and what they have been all season. They can't stop the run. Their offense is basically Josh Allen and James Cook playing hero ball. They don't really have any major threats on the outside. What else? And then again, Denver, at that stadium, that defense is as you mentioned, Jeremy, just too nasty. And I think also more significantly, I think Sean Payton is going to outcoach Sean McDermott. So I'll take Denver in this one.
Scott.
You know what? It is hard to go against the Denver Broncos, even though I think Buffalo's a 1-point favorite, aren't they? I understand. I have to go with the Broncos too. If no other reason, the altitude is going to play a factor into this football game. I really do. I mean, everybody. Adam's right, 100%. Josh Allen doesn't have any superstar quarterback getting in his way, and again, Jacksonville, did beat Denver in Denver, so that's another reason why I'm going with. Even though that's the case, I still, for some crazy reason or another, I have to go with the Broncos anyways. The altitude's going to play a bigger role than most people think.
I love how people say they don't trust the quarterback that hasn't been here before.
Right.
Whereas Josh Allen has been here before. And let's face it, if he's been on the road, he's lost to Baltimore with Tyler Huntley playing because Lamar Jackson was hurt.
Right.
Well, the one thing I will say is we have seen more parity in the league this year, and you really don't know because any given team, because who would have thought at this point in the season we would have no Patrick Mahomes, no KC, no Philadelphia Eagles, none of those teams that we thought might be there, and they're not. So
I didn't plan on Patrick Mahomes being there. You asked Adam; he was there when I did that show. I thought that they were the third best team in that division, and guess what? They were the third best team in that division. Did I expect them to only have 6 wins? No.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the other game
I had Denver being number one in our preseason schedule release whenever we did it. I had Denver being number one.
Mm-hmm.
I
did not have Kansas City being out of the playoffs, though.
I had the Chiefs being number one again, but I had it like a lot closer than it has been before, like maybe coming down to the last week of the season or something like that.
Okay, so the second game on Saturday is 49ers travel to the who do I have?
Yeah.
I love how you try to skip yourself there, Miss Candy.
I
be the full host and just skipping your own thoughts. I like it.
I think Buffalo's gonna go into Denver. I think they have something to prove. Like we have said, Josh Allen doesn't have the quarterbacks that have been his nemesis before still left in there. So, and Denver can be inconsistent at times. So they have a coach that's been there before, but they have a lot of inexperience at this stage of the game as well. So I just think Buffalo's going to go in and take care of business. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully my boss isn't listening to this because my boss is a Denver Broncos fan. And
you're going to get
you're going to get a pay cut.
What's her name? I'll share it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the second game, back to that. 49ers travel to Seattle.
I'm going to go. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. Notably, Sam Darnold is going to be playing with an oblique injury. San Francisco has already won in Seattle. They won their week 1, and they were relatively healthy in that game. I think it's going to be a great game. I know Seattle on paper has the advantage defensively, especially with that crowd behind them. We know how crazy those fans are, but I think Sam Darnold's injury is going to play a role in this. And notably, this is Clint Kubiak's first time in the limelight as a play caller. Robert Saleh's been there before. Robert Saleh has coordinated a defense that went to the Super Bowl. He even called plays in New York, even though he, didn't win anything there. But still, he's been on the big stage before. So I think his experience there is going to come in handy over the more inexperienced play caller in Clint Kubiak. I know Clint Kubiak was the offensive coordinator for Kirk Cousins in Minnesota many years ago, and Mike Zimmer was the head coach. And I think they made the playoffs once there, and that year they beat New Orleans in New Orleans and then lost to San Francisco against Robert Saleh. So Robert Saleh has coached against – no, I think I'm wrong. I'm wrong in that. That was Kevin Stefanski, never mind. But still, bottom line is this having been Clint Kubiak's first time calling a game in the postseason, I have to give Robert Saleh the edge because of his experience.
Jeremy, what's your
Seattle's healthy. They just got their starting right tackle back, Charles Cross, after missing the last 3 weeks of the season. And he had a week of rest before he even had to practice because they didn't know who they were game planning against. All they did was walk through. So that's a big key because the right side of that offensive line was not making holes for the running game. They were able to run on one side and not the other. Now that Charles Cross is back, you're going to see them be more balanced and use both sides of the offensive line in the run game. And I think that's why they win, because San Francisco was the absolute worst team at creating pressure all season. They were 31st in pressures and 32nd in sacks. And for that reason, I think they're going to be able to keep Sam Darnold upright. If they can't, if the pressure does get to Darnold, that's the only way he folds. So right now, I got Seattle winning probably like a 24-17 game.
Scott?
I got to go Seattle as well. I mean, I realized that Saleh had their number the last time they faced each other, but let's not kid ourselves. You know, a team, he has so much familiarity between these two division rivals that they know each other's tendencies. They really, really do. But Saleh will be a head coach probably by next week if he gets knocked out. His name is being floated all over the place. It just depends on where he wants to go. But I don't know, for some reason, my gut feeling says Seattle. I don't know why. Just they have the weapons offensively, and I think that Darnold has something to prove since he was knocked out by the Lions a year ago as well. He wants to prove he can win in big games. And, you know, there's nothing like a quarterback that has a chip on their shoulder that wants to win in big games, like we talked about with Josh Allen earlier, even though I went the Broncos route. But these quarterbacks have chips on their shoulders is what they really have. And you don't need a whole lot of motivation when you have that.
There is one more thing, Samir. You forget that they just, in week 18, they went to San Francisco and smacked them all over the mouth.
Yep, they did. But I think the outcome of this one is going to be different.
Okay.
That's my gut.
Your thoughts?
I like San Francisco. I think we're going to finally see again the Sam Darnold in primetime where he just flops. It's bound to happen. He's played two primetime games and did really good, but this time everyone's watching him, and I just feel that we're gonna get the flop Darnold.
Okay. I think Seattle goes in there. I think Seattle takes it. I think with the home crowd. I think with no Kittles. With him going down with the injury, San Francisco doesn't have the same amount of weapons. I think Seattle will take this game, but again, that's why
I'm not going to take away from Tongas, the backup tight end, because he's very good at running routes and receiving, but he is not a good run blocker like Kittle is. There's a reason why he's the backup.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. He filled in well though while Kittle was out earlier in the year, though.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, go look at the plays where CMC lost yardage, who missed their block.
Okay, there's two more on Sunday. The first game is Texans go over to the Patriots. Scott, we'll start with you this time. Who do you have in this game?
No, I'm going to Patriots. I really am for some reason or another. Mike Vrabel's done an incredible job with that franchise second time around, with a franchise that he's really brought together in such a short period of time. Drake May is certainly doing some incredible things with Josh McDaniels as their offensive coordinator. There's some magic going on, and I hear that Vrabel goes ahead and gives everybody high fives getting off the plane. The morale in that locker room is just unbelievable. When you have players that'll run through a wall to play for a coach, that speaks volumes. And Robert Kraft bringing back Vrabel to me, maybe that is considered the new Patriot way without Bill Belichick, because Mike Vrabel, when Tennessee let him go, they haven't been the same since. And New England pounced on this guy. Look what they've done. So I'm going to go the Patriots. I really am.
Samir, who you got in this one?
It's tough because CJ Stroud last year has been injured, and he's been at times mediocre, especially on the road against better defenses. But I think the way the Texans defense is playing, everyone talks about the way Denver's is playing. Houston's has been right up there since they started 0-3, started 2-4, and they've just been elite ever since. Their defensive, like on all three levels, their defensive line with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, linebackers, and then you've got a really good secondary. You've got Stingley, Jalen Petrie, Kamari Lassiter. So they've got talent, Pro Bowl level talent, basically at all three levels of that defense. And it's gonna be hard for me to pick one. It's gonna be hard for me to pick this one, but I think I picked Houston before the game. I think I'm gonna stick with it mainly because of their defense, and I think CJ Stroud, kind of like what he did in the second half at Pittsburgh, will do just enough to not lose the game. So I got to go with Houston.
Well,
Adam.
yeah, actually, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jerm.
No.
You were ready.
Yes.
You were ready to fire off. You were ready to fire up there. Go
Well,
for it.
you talk about the Houston defense and their pressure, and yes, it did help. But don't forget that Houston defense had to score 14 points for them to beat Pittsburgh, not the offense. The CJ Stroud was giving the game away. Pittsburgh had the lead. They threw 2 picks. They scored off of those 2 picks.
We never had the lead.
It looked like you guys had the lead at one.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Like Houston was in control of the whole game.
Right. But he could have gave the game away, is what I'm saying. Those are momentum shifters. Patriots defense and offense is more opportunistic in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, their offensive line is 10 times better than Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. Well, again, my thing is, and it's ironic because you have Josh McDaniels, a Hall of Fame level play caller. You have Mike Vrabel, who's been a coach of the year before. He's won in both stops. You have you've got guys like Diggs who have been on playoff runs. But the thing is, and yeah, Drake May won his first playoff game. Played well, I thought. Did enough to win. But he, at the end of the day, he's inexperienced. So, yeah, they're at home. But at the end of the day, it's 23? It's only his second playoff game. When they get pressure and they get in his face, how's he going to respond?
Like he did all year.
Oh, we'll see.
Adam, your thoughts?
Well, we saw a fluke in their defense. If you run slants on his defense, they have trouble covering it. We saw Metcalf drop a ball. We saw another guy drop a ball. I think Houston pulls this one off. I just do. I just feel that Houston's going to get a home AFC Championship game this week.
Okay.
Next week, whatever.
Andy.
I like the Patriots. I hear all of you. Houston, CJ Stroud did not have a good game. I saw the stats. If you look at his stats compared to Jordan Love stats, and don't get me started. I know Jordan Love wasn't the reason why we lost that game, but Jordan Love threw how many touchdowns? CJ Stroud didn't. He threw more interceptions. He threw less yards, but yet their defense came in and kept him in the game. I do think Vrabel has his Patriots playing at a high level. I see the Patriots taking this one. Last game, the Rams travel to visit the Chicago Bears. Who do we like?
Am I doing it again?
What? Adam? We're going to start with Adam first this time.
Going breakups. I don't know. I don't like the Bears. I'm not a Williams fan. I just ain't.
Okay.
Nothing against the guy. I don't know.
So you
I didn't
think
like him
Matthew
coming out of
Stafford's going
college.
to beat the Bears?
And I picked all road wins again this week, Jerm. This is 2 weeks in a row.
Okay.
Well, you got 2 of them right last week.
Right.
Or 3. 3.
Scott, who you got in this game? Rams versus the Bears.
Oh, Marty, we wouldn't get any picks for that.
Well, the Rams are Stafford's record when the temperature is 40 degrees or lower is 1-9. When you think about it, 1-9, that doesn't sit well. But and the way Ben Johnson treated the Packers and their coach, I'm still going to go with the Rams, just because I'm going to lead with my heart and pull for Stafford anyways, regardless. Ben Johnson, I get it. You're the new guy in town. We love your enthusiasm, but at least if you're going to win a game, show us some class. Don't look like a idiot. There's that thing called sportsmanship. Football is not only. It's one of those things where, okay, you win the battle and the war, but show some dignity when you're out there. Ben, you sat there and tried to go out there and look at Dan Campbell like you were some bigot. He beat you twice in the regular season. So, obviously he's done a remarkable job with the Bears, but I'm going to pull for the Rams anyways, and hopefully Stafford becomes 2-9.
Samir.
Yeah. I think the ride ends here for the Bears. I know that it's going to be below 0. I know it's going to be snowing in Chicago. But keep in mind, the Rams were a Jalen Carter sack away last year from going into Philadelphia under similar conditions and winning that game.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the experience of the Rams in that regard. One point of concern with the Rams is how their defense has played as of lately. They played poorly in Seattle. They played poorly in Atlanta, and they looked shaky against Arizona last game of the regular season. And then they almost blew the game at the end to the Carolina Panthers until Matthew Stafford led a game-winning drive and had to go win the game at the end. So that is my concern with the Rams, especially with how Caleb Williams has played in the second half all season. Just seems like whatever it is in the second half, just a switch turns on for that entire Bears offense and they just start clicking. But with that being said, I'm going to go with the Rams. Really, I don't think Ben Johnson handled the handshake aspect well with Matt LaFleur. But the locker room, what he said in the locker room, I feel like, it's a rivalry. The Bears and the Packers have a rivalry. And, if he says in the locker room, it's fine, but the handshake thing wasn't. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams.
That was bad.
Smoking Jeremy B.
Isn't that weird how everyone has Caleb?
I'm going to treat it like it's bear camp. It's bear down, and that isn't a good thing. It's because they all got shot through with Matt Stafford's cannon on that field. Because if anybody's got the arm strength to throw through the wind in Chicago, it's Matt Stafford. On top of that, you got Kyren Williams, who's an excellent runner, but you forget that they got a guy that's used to running in cold weather on that team, and Blake Corum that played for the University of Michigan. So give me the Rams, run the ball down their throat, set up that play action, get some slants to Puka, hit Devontae on a deep route once it opens up, and that should be how they beat the Bears.
I'm gonna say Rams too. And as much as some people are giving the Bears so much credit, I think the Packers lost that game. It wasn't so much that the Bears won that game. I think the Packers really let off the gas. And let's face it, if our kicker would have made the 7 points he left on the table, and I could go on and on about that, because as I look at all of the games that we lost by 3 points or less, he missed a field goal or a 3-point swing from him not completing his kicking duties there. But I will say, I think it's going to be the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford's very familiar with the Bears. I think he's going to go in there, and I think he's going to have his team. As much as Ben Johnson is a good coach, I think his first year is going to come to an end at home. But we'll see. And Eddie, it pains me to say no. As far as I know, he has not been cut yet.
I don't think he had to be, because I think he only had a 1-year contract because he was signed because you guys had somebody get injured in the preseason. I think he only got a 1-year contract this year.
I'll have to look that up. But
Well, if he is, that makes him a free agent anyways. It doesn't matter.
Right. He doesn't have to be cut. They could just sit there and wait till February and say, bye.
Well, that's probably what they're going to do.
I don't think so. But so who do we think is coaching vacancies? Anyone want to talk about who they think is going to go where?
I called it Wednesday night on our show. It happened by midnight. John Harbaugh is a Giant. The first one's been filled.
So you're telling me you're a genius because you called the obvious?
Well, no,
really? Seriously, really?
Wait, no, stop. It wasn't that obvious until you learned one thing. Every other interview he done this week, Monday through Tuesday, was a Zoom call. He went in person to New York for the interview.
Yeah,
that's what I was getting at. That put the writing on the wall for me. And they said, oh, he was on his way home to do a Zoom call at noon in Baltimore with the Titans. I said, yeah, he ain't taking that because they're going to give him the money before his head hits the pillow.
Yeah, that's all right. Tom Coughlin endorsed him, and he knew he was going there to New York to win in the Big Apple, and didn't have to face his brother during the regular season too often as he did when they were in the same conference. But as far as I'm concerned, you want me to answer that question? Mike McCarthy's going to the Tennessee Titans.
If Aaron
I've
Rodgers,
seen a lot of Matt Nagy there.
If Aaron Rodgers does resign shortly with the Steelers, don't be surprised if Mike McCarthy goes to the Steelers.
Really?
That's all I'm going to say.
That is intriguing. I will give you that much, Paul Rick.
I think first off,
Freeman leaves Notre Dame.
I think first off, Jesse Minter's going to go to the Ravens. There's a connection there. He was on John Harbaugh's coaching staff. Then he was Jim Harbaugh's defensive coordinator. The Ravens' identity has always been their defense for the most part. And I think he's arguably, between him and Chris Shula, the best defensive coordinator on the market for head coach. So I think he's going to go to Baltimore. Eddie, Atlanta should hire Stefanski. No. Why? Look, I know the situation in Cleveland is not ideal. It's one of the organizations that's probably a lot more dysfunctional than Atlanta has been the last decade. But I just can't ignore the fact that you are what your record says you are at the end of the day. And the fact is, Kevin Stefanski is 8-26 the last 2 years. He has, and although it hasn't been his fault because the trade for Deshaun Watson has completely killed their draft capital, screwed their cap, and
he had 7 starting quarterbacks.
The roster. He had 7 starting quarterbacks, I think, the last 2 years, 13 total in his time in Cleveland, and the results were not any different. And ultimately, I have to look at the coaching. So personally, I want Clint Kubiak. I know a lot of Falcons fans don't want another young first-time coordinator. I want Clint Kubiak. It's obvious, in case you haven't seen, Matt Ryan is the new president of football operations here, and his MVP season came under Kyle Shanahan's offense. Clint Kubiak comes from the Shanahan tree. Ultimately, I feel like that is the best fit for Atlanta.
Jack Wagons is actually a compliment.
And by the way, Samir, what you do say does make a lot of sense. But I'm going back to this. Paul Rick, I'm intrigued by McCarthy going to Steelers, but I still say he's going to the Titans. But intrigued. You got me there. You didn't make me think.
Yeah. Well, because like I said, if Rodgers re-signs with the Steelers, he loved Mike McCarthy. He loved Mike McCarthy because this is a down year to be in the middle of the pack, needing a franchise quarterback in the draft. This is a down year.
Yeah.
Because
no one's-
out of the three
This should
first
be the
round
year to
quar-
trade Mike Tomlin. Then this will be the year to give up that pick if they're saying there's no one really that good. There's
there
so
is-
many teams
yeah.
need linemen, and that this is going to be a heavy lineman draft.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Rodgers went there because of Tomlin, anyways. He really did. And you saw the way the exchange ended there. He went there because he really, really had passion for Tomlin. He even stayed up the Pat McAfee show that Pat Tomlin told him to do it. So to think that he reveres the guy, I get it. But if McCarthy goes there, I could see the point. But I still think that McCarthy's intrigued about the possibility of wanting to work with Cam Ward, who you have a good quarterback there. You just need a great offensive mind to make sure he stays on track and doesn't become an underperforming quarterback due to a lackluster head coach and offensive coordinator. I'm pulling for Cam Ward. I want to see McCarthy go there badly.
Yes, I did say Mike McCarthy to the Steelers, and it is going to be contingent upon Rodgers, because if Rodgers stays, he's going to want to stay on who his head coach is. That's what I was getting at.
I agree. Just to cycle back to McManus, Green Bay placed an out in his contract for 2026, which they will likely exercise. According to Sport Track, the Packers would take on a $3.33 million dead cap, which isn't horrible in the grand scheme of things. McManus is also due a $1 million roster bonus for 2026 that goes into effect on the third day of the new league year. So
It's March 15th.
I'm with you, Yenzer. I'm with you.
So please no Rodgers and
For some reason, I think the Raiders are going to Raider again. They're going to get some fossil of a coach. If McCarthy doesn't go to the Steelers, that's where McCarthy goes. Because McCarthy is a fossilized type of coach. He does not do the innovative thing. He has a predictable offense. That's why they couldn't win a playoff game with him.
I
Yeah,
think if
I'm
McCarthy were to go there, I think having a veteran coach like that, even though his offense isn't, one of the new modern innovative offenses, I think it would help with, we have Mendoza, you have Bowers, you have Jency. It would help with Mendoza's development and the pieces they have over there, I think. At least.
Nick, the answer to your question is 7:30 on Monday night.
Yep, 7:30 pregame show, 8:05 kickoff.
See, I'm baffled by the Raiders opening. Who'd really want that job?
I think they'd be.
I mean, I
better off-
realize Mendoza would be the intrigue, but that's a job. How many coaches have they gone through the last several years? A lot.
A lot.
I have a solution for the Raiders that makes way more sense. The
Does
Jets
anyone
need a
think
quarterback
Mendoza-
even worse than the Raiders. Trade back with the Jets, get 2 first-round picks this year, fix your O-line, and draft your quarterback next year.
Yeah,
I was gonna
but
say, does anyone think
about that is-
Mendoza cancels and stays back, or can he if he doesn't want to go to the Raiders?
Here, I'll nominate Dave Doran of North Carolina State to go there. They deserve each other.
And,
yeah, but
Everybody,
the only
Look
thing
at
about-
everybody.
everybody that knows me will understand why I'm being sarcastic about it,
Yeah,
right,
I
Jeremy?
know. Yeah, I do. But what's
Yeah,
funny
okay.
about it is Dante Moore was supposed to be the second best quarterback in the draft. Who's the second team that needs a quarterback in the draft in the top 5? The New York Jets. What did he say? I'm going back to college, even though Dominic Raiola's kid transferred to Oregon.
Yeah. The thing about trading back when you need a quarterback is that it's never guaranteed that the quarterback class the year after is going to be as good as it is on paper now. Everyone talked about how good this year's class is going to be with, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning, Dante Moore, and then of course Mendoza. But, 3 of those guys went back to school.
Right.
And now you only have 1. And then possibly Trinidad Chambliss in the second round. So
And
I feel like when
Simpson
you
is
have
the
a
other one,
chance,
right?
yeah, when you have a
Do you
chance,
feel Chase Hamlin's going to fall back to me?
huh?
Do you think Chase is going to be like a third round? You think he's going to fall that far?
Shameless,
Who's-
yeah.
Lee Will Miss guy.
No, I would take him in the second round. I would take him in
Yeah.
the second round, but
I thought Arch turned his season around pretty good.
But he
I feel like
still has decision-making problems. He still has things to work on. So that's why he's staying in school.
But after watching him in that opening game against Ohio State, I feel Archie turned it around a lot.
yeah, I mean, the thing about that is whenever you have a chance to get a franchise quarterback, I feel like you have to do it.
Right.
Because for the reasons I stated. And again, what if hypothetically you end up winning 6 games next year? So now you're out of that top 8 or possibly. So now, depending on the draft situation, and let's say you're picking 8th overall and there are 3 or 4 teams ahead of you that need a quarterback.
I
That's why I
understand that.
feel like when you have a chance to get him, you get him now.
Jets has so many picks. Hendon Hooker is there. Imagine he's the starter and they draft a QB next year if they want, because they still have 2 picks in the first round.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeremy?
That is the risk you take by trading back. You're absolutely right.
It is.
Jeremy, I'm going to tell you one thing about Hendon Hooker with the Jets, though. And people may not realize this. That's an intriguing place for him to go. I mean, Aaron Glenn is familiar with
He's
the
already
guy.
there.
Well, right.
Right.
That's what I mean. Precisely my
And-
point. Thank you.
And his former passing game coordinator, when he would look okay during the preseason, is there, and Tanner Engstrom is OC.
Right. That's precisely my point, Jeremy. So that's actually a decent spot for him. It really, really is. I mean, whether he contributes or not is another story, but you never know. I've seen crazier things happen where some guys take a few years to develop in the right system, but he's got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Justin Fields is gone. So whatever you do with Hooker out there, more power to him.
Fields isn't gone. They signed him to a 3-year contract.
Yeah, but I think they're letting him go.
But here's the funny thing about Fields, and I'm going to say this one time, and I've repeated it many times in front of Adam, and I never got to say it here. Everybody on this panel has more net passing yards than Justin Fields had in week 4 of the NFL because he had -10.
That's funny.
It's awful. Awful.
Mhm.
Although, you know, Ty Simpson's an interesting name being floated out there. I give the guy credit for coming out from Alabama. You know what? He's a name to watch.
I don't think Hendon Hooker had the chance to really develop into this playbook. If you remember right, he didn't get to practice with the team at all his rookie year. The next year, he came in 3 weeks into camp just before the preseason started. He did okay in the preseason. He wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. And then we signed Teddy Bridgewater to be a backup.
Right.
And when we had garbage time, the only game he got to come in was the game when Aiden Hutchinson hurt himself, because we didn't have Bridgewater yet, because Bridgewater was still coaching high school.
Jeremy, are they really bringing in Arthur Smith?
They are.
We requested an interview with him. I think it's just a due diligence thing. It's kind of like what's going on with Mel McDaniel. I think he wants to be a head coach still, and he's judging to see what the interest is by taking all these interviews. But in all actuality, he's going to end up deciding between Bucks and Detroit on who he wants to be the OC for.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be part of a bad head coaching situation. Otherwise, that sets you back. So I agree. It'll be. I think you're right, Jeremy. I think that comes down to Tampa Bay and Detroit. I'm sorry, Adam, if I interrupted you.
I was going to say, if they sign Montgomery, I think it'd be a good place for Arthur Smith to be, because he loves running backs. And we saw it a lot of screen passes, a lot of junk passes, a lot of Todd Haley crap.
And like I said, I think it's more of a due diligence thing. My order, and I'm going to give it right now, and I'm going to throw one in the monkey wrench that hasn't been called for an interview yet, just because of what he said on the Pat McAfee show. Number 1, I want Mike McDaniel. I want him. Number 2, Mike Kafka. Now everybody can poo-poo on the fact that he was with the Giants, but everybody forgets he was the OC of a Super Bowl winning team actually calling plays because they had a defensive head coach. Number 3, and Lions fans are going to hate me for saying it, Dan Orlovsky. Because the production assistant for Pat McAfee suggested Dan Orlovsky become the OC in Detroit. And so Pat McAfee said, well, I have his number because we're a part of ESPN now. So he calls Dan Orlovsky and asks him, he goes, I love Detroit. I love the Detroit organization. I would love to be the offensive coordinator for Jared Goff. Why?
Yeah.
Those who can't play become coaches and usually do pretty darn good at it. And this is the way for he could get his start as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I read that. It intrigues me.
I'll tell you why I'm out on Kingsbury. Kingsbury's a great OC, but if you go look at his track record, he's looking for a head coaching job. That's the reason why he left Washington.
Right. Yeah.
Kafka was
Is
an
he talking about
OC.
Kingsbury going to Detroit, or
Yeah, somebody said Kingsbury. Yeah.
No,
If it's Kingsbury to the Steelers, I'll tell you what, it's buyer beware for Kingsbury as a head coach. Because in his tenure, the 15 years he was a head coach, he has a track record. The first half of the season, he has a 66% win rate. The second half of the season, 25%. Buyer beware.
if Kingsbury comes to Pittsburgh, get ready for Cal Murray.
Oh, hello, Token. The tactical token.
Cal Murray will follow Kingsbury.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, Orlovsky just better realize that if he takes on an offensive coordinator job, that the end zone is not the size of the Canadian Football League, that you can't run to the back of it.
Did you hear what team is bringing in Dion for a thing? It broke last night. Your Pittsburgh Steelers are going to interview Deion Sanders.
You think so?
It was announced last night.
Why wouldn't the Cowboys? Why wouldn't the Browns interview him so he can coach his son and make him be another 13-12 and get praise for it?
Don't say that, Adam. It's bad juju.
Hey, AX Token, if you don't mind, please subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel already, and we'd love to see you participate in our chat room. I like the stuff you're putting out there. That'd be great if you don't mind doing that. Continue to be part of our team in a big way.
I don't know if you guys saw what happened on one of the reasons why Stefanski did not want Shedeur Sanders for the Browns and why he was trying to tell the GM not to draft him the entire draft. His grandfather is the reporter back when Shedeur's dad was a football and baseball player. He had played that morning playing football, and he was in the afternoon playoff game with the Reds, and Tim McCarver was the reporter. Tim McCarver goes up and says, please, why don't you stick to one sport during the season? If you're going to play football, don't play playoff baseball. And they literally, Dion literally poured a bottle of water over Tim McCarver's head. Tim McCarver is Kevin Stefanski's grandfather.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. RM Dizzo, South Florida Tribune, my friend.
Yeah, I think actually that was when he was playing with the Braves and the Falcons.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, yep.
That was when the Braves had clinched the World Series. They'd won the NLCS, I think, and he played for the Falcons earlier, flew back to Atlanta and played the Game 7 for the Braves.
But
I think that was when he dumped water on him in the clubhouse. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember watching that when it happened. That was bad. That was really bad.
Yeah, because I remember Dion being fined for it because you're not supposed to do that to the media.
Yeah, I have my own thoughts on Deion Sanders, but we don't have time to talk about him tonight.
Oh, yeah. Bo Jackson was a real two-sport player, 100%.
Yeah. So, yeah, RM Dizzle, South Florida Tribune, if you're still on, please sub. And everybody else.
That's one of my guys.
I agree, Marty.
Gaviscon, too.
Yeah, well, please send them our way. And, of course, you're on all these shows anyways.
Yeah.
We bring you on every time we get a chance.
And actually, I can make it really easy for you. Here's a QR code for our YouTube channel. Go
I do
ahead.
the same thing on my show.
That makes it even easier for everybody. Go ahead.
Was Jeremy Bullrich in my book too? Be in the next one. I read
Page
it.
155, second paragraph.
There you go. That a boy, Jeremy. You learn your lessons well.
Hey, if you're gonna plug me, I'm gonna say where I'm at.
I'm
But
not.
guess
You see me stopping you.
But it is a great read if you're thinking about getting into broadcasting or into journalism. It is something you want to read because it deals with all of it.
I call it a textbook for those individuals looking to get into business. I'm working on
That's
my
on
second
Amazon,
one.
right?
It's on Amazon,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
I'll
need
be
to get
writing
it.
a second book. I'll tell you what, Adam, continue to contribute in a good way. You and Jeremy and the rest of these guys, Samir, you included, will be in the next one. If nothing else, the acknowledgments, but I'll put you in the next one. I'll be working on it. I'm compiling a lot of good material. So, Adam, that'd be
And
great.
there it is.
Look at
Page
look at this
155,
guy kissing
second
a little
paragraph.
butt. Look at this guy kissing a little butt, huh?
Hey, I already read it 3 times.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good man.
That's my problem. Like I don't know. I read better on the Kindle than I do in the book because I notice like when I read a book, I read the whole way across. Like
Which
I
one-
forget to stop in the
which-
middle and go back down to the next
which-
line, and I'll be like, wait, I already read this.
Which book site is it on? Was it Barnes and Noble?
So
Is it on Kindle?
the book is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. It is now available on audiobooks. So it's available on audio, which is Amazon and a bunch of other ones. It's slowly getting to all of them. It's not on Apple. It's not on audio Apple yet, but it's we put it out there and it's picked up by like 25 different places.
Who was that narrator, anyways, that narrated the book?
Ashley Ballio, she was one of a chamber member that Scott
No,
met.
actually, I met her over at Toastmasters out in Coral Springs.
Toastmasters? Okay.
Yeah, I met her there.
Okay.
And actually, Candy's brother did, I think, the back cover, was it?
He did a back cover and I did one little bit of it. So the acknowledgments section.
But
so.
Ashley's the key voice that you're going to see in it. She's great.
Yep.
I might download it just to have it.
Okay.
There you go.
Whatever you want. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I need to look into that, Marty. Definitely need to look into those audiobooks.
Guys, it's time for my town.
Thanks.
Let's start with Adam. Adam, what's happening in your town?
Well, the Penguins
Thanks,
are
Aaron.
fourth place in the division, and they were beating the living crap out of Philly last I looked. I haven't looked in a while, but it was 6-1. Obviously, Tomlin's gone. The search for the new head coach is underway. We've reached out to a couple people, but I don't really know. They say we reached out, but no one really, but we'll see. I want an offensive minded guy, someone that's going to be able to wants to throw the ball on like all these stupid screen passes that Jeremy's probably going to end up with Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator.
Don't curse me like that. I don't know why you guys hired him because he already was a Falcons reject.
Ugh, yeah.
Look, we were talking about this. We were talking about this at work, and we said Arthur Smith was going to try and get Acrisure Stadium called FedEx in honor of his dad.
Oh, you mean the Postmaster General?
Yeah. Well, he's the one that started FedEx, so.
Right, I got you. But I thought it would be a combined stadium. Get FedEx and UPS involved and call it Fed Up Stadium. Especially if you guys kept Tomlin.
If the Steelers knew this was going to be Mike Tomlin's last game, it would have been nice if they would have announced it.
Right.
Like giving him
Because that way, we could have like chanted "Thank you, Mike" instead of saying "Fire Tomlin." I don't know if you guys heard that on the game or not. But,
Oh, we heard it.
I did.
But my son was like, he was loving it. He's like, yes, they're doing it, and he's like, he videoed it. He got it on video.
Yeah.
But yeah, for his first game, he got to go to a playoff game, and I go, the atmosphere is not always like this. But
I mean, I'll say this as a blanket statement. I think as passionate as Steelers fans are, I think at times you guys can be a little spoiled. I know the expectation I know out there is to win the Super Bowl every year, but I mean, I would gladly take a Mike Tomlin here in Atlanta, like just to have that stability.
you can have that city of mediocrity all you want, buddy. That's all you're gonna
Hey,
get. That's all you're
but-
gonna get.
But you know what? 9-8 would have won the division this year. They'd have been happy with that.
If they had just beaten the Jets.
I don't know. You get tired. Like you get tired of it. You get tired of it.
You know,
Like
I'm going to go back to something I said a long time ago when the first time I heard about Pittsburgh Steelers fans griping about the 9-7 record when it was a 16-game season. When we were dealing with the bad year with Caldwell, and then we had an okay year but didn't make the playoffs, and we fired him and hired Matt Patricia. And it was that year. It was the first time I heard the fire Tomlin chant in 2018. I said, as a 40-plus year Lion fan who had to deal with the Millen Depression era, the decade of despair, we called it in Detroit, I would have killed for
Right.
consecutive 9-7 seasons. So fuck it.
Yeah, that was bad. That's for sure.
yeah, but I don't know. You can only take the staleness for so long, Germ.
When
Like-
you've never been to a Super Bowl, that is a Super Bowl if your team has a winning record.
Well, that's fine. Then let him go to these low life teams and see if he can turn them around.
But in all actuality, according to his presser and what we heard Art II say of the Steelers, he wanted to step down to spend more time with his family. But it was different from what Harbaugh dealt with there in Baltimore. Back in week 4 when things were blowing up there and it was looking bad offensively and defensively and everything else in Baltimore, John Harbaugh protected his coordinators from management.
Right.
They wanted to fire them both. And then at the end of the season, even though they were that one play away from making the playoffs and the kicker missed the kick, they wanted to fire him right there on the spot. And he defended his coordinators again. And that's why he was fired. There was not all that rumor mill crap about the rough between him and Lamar. That didn't exist. That was created by one negative clickbait writer there in Baltimore.
All right, so I have a question. Now that we see this 9-8 crap go on for 19 years, do you guys feel coaches should be held to a different standard getting into the Hall of Fame? Or is it still an I thing instead of a what has your team done?
Yeah, well, I think and I think it was Rondé Barber might have been who recently said that he doesn't think Tomlin will coach again. I think the consensus is he'll take maybe a year off, do TV, and kind of what a Sean Payton did, and the team will get him in a trade in the next cycle. Rondé Barber is saying that he might not coach again. So if he ends up not coaching again, 19 winning seasons in the NFL is unheard of. Like not even, and I'm not comparing Tom to Bill Belichick, but not even the greatest of all time, who was Bill Belichick, was able to do that with how much parity the NFL is with cap space and how it was designed for the NFL is designed for bad teams to get good quickly and for you to not be good for long. So the fact that he was able, what does he say the standard is a standard?
What are good seasons, you guys? I don't understand this.
Because you're not listening.
My team hasn't been to the playoffs in 8 years. Like, can we just have a winning record?
Yeah, well, we're the city of champions, and we went to the city of mediocrity. It's ridiculous.
But above 500 is considered a winning season by everybody in the NFL.
No, winning in the playoffs is considered a winning season. Playing in late January and February is a winning season. Not being one and done. I don't care what you do in the regular season, guys. Look, we're all sitting at home for the Super Bowl.
If you get to the playoffs, you have a chance.
So you would be excited
That's
about 9-8?
understandable. I mean, that's understandable because that's kind of been the same sentiment around, the Atlanta Braves since the 90s, where, yeah, I mean, we have all
You
these
don't tell me
division
we were
titles.
the Pirates. We played you guys.
Well, you know
You
what?
don't tell me.
9-8. Guess what? Technically, 9-8 got because throw out the tie. It was a 9-8 record that got the Packers into the playoffs and a chance to beat the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys had a chance, and your team shit the bed.
Everybody in our conference
shit the
had a
bed.
good season.
Almost been blown out in the last 9 playoff games.
See, like that's understandable because to be fair, they haven't been competitive since. Like, when was the last playoff game you've been competitive in? I mean, but still, I mean,
Who,
like,
the Steelers?
yeah, it's been a while, right? Because
Probably the AFC Championship game when we won to go to the Super Bowl and lose the Green Bay.
I mean, because I feel like when you talk,
What was
like,
that, 11 candy?
context, I feel like
Yeah.
Tomlin has had 19 winning seasons. The Falcons and their entire
We didn't win
franchise
anything.
have had 17.
One of them was a Super Bowl.
Okay, we had 1 Super Bowl, 1 loss, and then Cowher's whole staff left, and that's when this whole thing turned downhill.
No. You won a Super Bowl with Tomlin as the head coach, though, that year after.
I understand that, but it was still all Cowher staff.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me. I want to address this comment. We are sorry for the loss of your mother. I'm glad that you are watching sports podcasts to try and relieve some of your anxiety. You are welcome to come see ours. We do broadcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, and Saturday mornings. So you can watch sports on our channel. And I know, Jeremy, you do how many? And Adam, you do how many? So we're glad you're here, and we hope you stay and watch more. So
Yeah, my channel had 2 shows tonight, and I didn't even. Well, I mean, they weren't my guys. They weren't my shows, but they were my guys. Yeah, did you know Ken and Dylan were doing a show tonight, Jeremy? I didn't.
Yeah, I watched part of it.
Well, I did once. I talked to Ken before the show, but I didn't even know they were going live.
Oh, Ken's just wanting to drum the fact that his Bears are better than everybody thinks they are.
People.
But what classifies the coach as getting into the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I think what you did, but I think you also have to consider who has Tomlin had at quarterback the past. So he's had a Ben Roethlisberger at the end of his career. His arm was shot after that elbow injury. In, was it 19? Yeah, 19. You had Mason Rudolph. You had
Who
Kenny
got
Pickett
them
and
into the
Pickett.
playoffs?
you had Kenny Pickett. Oh, he never should have been drafted in the first round.
No, that pick should have been Tyler Linderbaum, and I'm going to swear by it the rest of my life.
And then you had 35-year-old Russell Wilson basically at the end of the road.
Tomlin made sure he brought in.
And then you had Justin Fields, who yeah, you have Justin
Who
Fields.
was 4-2 when they took him out.
Yeah, but he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He was 4-2 when they took him out.
Yeah, right. He had a loss in his first game, won 4 straight, and a loss in his last game, and then Russell got healthy.
And then you had 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who's had a torn Achilles 2 years ago and is a statue.
With
Yeah.
that same bad O-line that still needs Tyler Linderbaum.
Valid point.
Right. We talked about that last night. Eddie. My co-host Rich loves Jackson Dart, and I'm surprised he did break his TV whenever that happened.
Yeah, I know. When I saw you guys take Will Howard, I was like, uh-oh.
The only knock I have for Tomlin is that he seems like he just can't build a good coaching staff. Like the only
There's no coaching tree.
Yeah, like
no
the only
coaching tree,
assistant under Tomlin that's been a head coach, and he was a holdover from Bill Cowher, was Bruce Arians. Like he was there when Bill Cowher was there. Like I mean, he hired. It was Matt
Flores.
Canada, Arthur
I'm surprised
Smith.
Bruce Arians lasted as long as he did, though.
Yeah. It's like he hired Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator, which never made sense. His offenses were not good in Atlanta. You can say what you want
We
about
had Todd Haley too. Remember that?
Yeah, Todd Haley. Well, he had with the weapons you guys had on offense, anyone could have scored with that. And then you had who was after Todd Haley?
What was his name?
Canada, right?
Yeah, Matt Canada.
Matt Canada. So that's really the only knock on him is that he just can't hire a good coaching staff.
And then Arthur Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, we struggled. Eddie, there's no question he struggled in that department. That's for sure. I mean, I think the biggest. Well, hold on, Jerry. I think the biggest mistake Pittsburgh let Bruce Arians go. That was a huge mistake because everybody saw what he did after he left Pittsburgh. Go ahead.
And I have the second worst one was letting Brian Flores not be the defensive coordinator and letting him walk out the building and promoting Terrell Austin.
I agree. Oh, yeah, but yet, ironically, though, as much as I think you're right about that, don't be surprised if Flores gets a head coaching job there. So he's being interviewed for it. So they could amend that mistake if they hire him as head coach. In fact, it's funny how you bring him up, Jeremy. I do want to add this. Brian Flores' name is going to be one of the most intriguing names in this head coaching cycle. He's going to land somewhere. He will. I just don't know where.
Will he swallow his pride and drop those court cases against the two NFL teams, the Giants and Dolphins, to be able to head coach? Because as long as you're on arbitration versus owners, which is a part of the shield, you cannot be a head coach in the NFL.
Somehow, I think
drop his case.
Right.
That's
somehow,
the same
I think
thing
that
with
gets
John
worked.
Gruden.
Somehow, some way, I think that gets worked out. I think he wants to see how it plays out. If he gets hired, then at that point, because none of us have really heard a whole lot about that lawsuit, anyways. The longer it stays out of the news, I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because this guy deserves to be a head coach and deserves a second opportunity. And I'll say one thing: he was right about Tua to begin with. Tua was a bust, and that's all there is to it. And he stood by his Hold on. He stood by his principles and was right. And Mike McDaniel couldn't even solve Tua when it was all said and done. And Flores was right to begin with. Ryan Fitzpatrick's the only reason they got wins, not Tua, who to me was who's the Humpty Dumpty at a big fall. That's how you can describe Tua. Humpty Dumpty. All he did was a big fall, and he kept falling apart. Who am I to say anything about falling apart? I'm falling apart too. But that's why I have her helping me out as a caretaker, keeping me on my feet and talking.
There's a difference there, sir. At our age, we're supposed to start falling apart. It's not supposed to happen when you're in your 20s and you're supposed to be a premier athlete.
Well, I began that process even then, but it seems to have gotten way worse as time goes on, and I have a lot of mileage. Just so you know, Adam, but I still want to get you on the show at some point, pal.
I have a suggestion for the Steelers to make it easy. If he can't drop his case and be a head coach, you hire him as the defensive coordinator immediately, because now that Tomlin has stepped down, you technically have no coordinators. People only have to ask because it's still the same season they're signed in. That's why people have to request.
Tomlin didn't like people with a bigger mind than him, just to let you know.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying right now you could hire him as a DC and then get an offensive-minded head coach to go with him for a year until either he gets his court case done or drops it so he can be promoted.
I have a feeling you'll be having this topic in about a week or two, and begin with stay tuned, TBD, as we say in our business, right, Adam? TBD. This story isn't done yet.
I don't think I'm wrong in that suggestion.
I didn't say you were wrong. I just think it's a TBD. Is all I told you.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna reel it back. I'm gonna reel it back in because we were doing my town. Jeremy, what's happening in your town?
Well, the Red Wings are still rolling. They're doing great. They've been winning games at a better clip. I think they've been like 3-1 in their last 4 games. The Pistons win again. They're 29-10 and one of the leaders in the Eastern Conference of basketball. So Detroit sports in general is in a good place. All we got to do is get an offensive coordinator and fix this O-line, and the Lions will be right back in the talk of being the best in the NFC North again.
Samir, what's happening in your town?
Yeah, so a lot has happened since my last time on the show. Obviously, Atlanta won 4 straight, but still they ended up cleaning house. Raheem Morris, Terry Fontenot, both gone. Terry Fontenot, not very surprising. Raheem Morris was kind of surprising. Thought it should have happened, but I thought after the 4-game win streak, they might have given him a year, but it kind of made sense to clean the whole house. And notably, Scott, you might have covered him since you've covered the NFL before. The longtime president, Rich McKay, is no longer the president of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Matt Ryan.
It's now Matt Ryan, and he's going to be leading the search for coach and general manager.
Mm-hmm.
For general manager,
did you hear who one of your big coaching requests is?
Yes, I did.
Robert Salah.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I think we're going to interview him soon. But I think for the general manager, it seems like it's a done deal that it's going to be Ian Cunningham from the Bears. Matt Ryan and Ryan Poles were teammates at Boston College. Ian Cunningham's the assistant GM there. So it seems like they interviewed him for the president of football, but it seems like he's going to be the next general manager, barring any surprise. I have to read a little more on him, but he's from the Ozzie Newsome and Howie Roseman tree. So 2 very good Hall of Fame general managers we worked under. The Hawks are beating the Trailblazers right now by 2 at halftime. In case you didn't know, they did. It was the end of an era last week. They moved on from their franchise player, Trae Young, trading in for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. I even through all the trade rumors, I never thought it was something that would inevitably happen. I thought he would always retire in Atlanta, but it just don't work that way, I guess. And the Braves signed 5 international free agents. I think 1 pitcher, shortstop, and a couple outfielders. I think I said who my personal pick or preference for the Falcons head coach would be. It's Quint Kubiak. I think I'm good on Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, he's got the 2-time coach of the year, been to the playoffs twice, but just the win-loss record, the mishandling of the quarterback, all of which wasn't his fault, but still the bad offenses. I just don't know if I can take another risk on. We can do another risk on another head coach with a losing record at his last stop. So, give me the new, fresh face. Give me Quint Kubiak, hopefully with Ian Cunningham. So we'll see what happens from there. That's it for my town.
Yes, the Dodgers did get Kyle Tucker.
Scott, what's happening in your town?
I'll throw a couple your way. Number 1, congratulations to Inter Miami for winning their first MLS championship. And believe it or not, 1,200 Vancouver fans actually flew down to Fort Lauderdale to watch it. And another announcement I'm going to make on the show, as I did on Sports Wrap, we will be adding a soccer segment to Sports Wrap and talk about Inter Miami as we try to see if we can provide a different dimension to that show as well. So we talked about that leading into the show. My co-hosts, Cody Spink and Mike Santos, were on board with it, wanted it. I'm going to deliver it under the Sports Wrap umbrella. Another thing that probably would never get mentioned on this show, unless we had JJ Metz on here, and he's been long gone for a while. We'll see if he ever comes around. But congratulations to John McCormack on his induction into the ABCA, American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. He's done an incredible job coaching FAU baseball after taking over for his mentor, Kevin Cooney, who's a very good friend of mine. So FAU baseball does not get a lot of national publicity, but I'm going to tell you, of all the programs that have won at Boca Raton, this one here has won a lot. And I can only hope one day while I'm around here that FAU gets a brand new baseball stadium, because that's a great baseball program. It really is. So Inter Miami, FAU baseball, I'm more than happy to include them in my town as well for tonight. Great job by you guys. You guys are an incredible, entertaining group to watch. I enjoy Candy watching. I've enjoyed the banner runs. You know, you, Samir, and Adam, and Jeremy, and it's been kind of neat. I don't have to worry about losing my voice watching you pros at it. You guys do a pretty incredible job, and any of you are always welcome to come on our shows, the ones I host as well. You guys are all fantastic. So please remember that. Okay, go ahead, Ted.
Clayton Kershaw is going to pitch in the World Classic, just to let you know, for the USA. That just got posted.
No, he retired. Yep, I read that. So For my town, obviously our arch rival, longtime rival, knocked us out of the playoffs last week, so Green Bay is sent packing, so to speak, and trying to figure out what they want to do. Um, as far as I know, they have not reached a new contract extension with Matt LaFleur. He is in the last year, and they said that they do not want to leave it in the last year like that. So they're trying to work out, I think, a deal. I'm not exactly sure. We're going to wait and see. They are over their cap space, so they've got some tough decisions to make. As for the Milwaukee Bucks, they're not having the season they wanted. They've had a lot of been interesting what I've been reading lately, because I've heard Giannis come out and say that he doesn't want to go moved on to anybody else, but in the same breath, they were losing big time the other night, and Milwaukee fans were booing, and I just hate seeing that. But they haven't had the season that they thought they were, and I know that Giannis wants another ring before he retires to Greece. With that being said, the Wisconsin Badgers basketball team had two big wins in the last minute this week, so I have to give my kudos to them. I also have to give kudos to Wisconsin Badger girls hockey. They did really well last year, and they're doing well again this year. As for the Milwaukee Brewers, they did hire former Minnesota Twins general manager Thad Levine has joined the Milwaukee Brewers organization as a special advisor. Levine spent 8 seasons with the Twins and left at the end of the 2024 campaign. The Twins reached the playoffs in 4 of his 8 seasons with the Twins. So that's one of the hires that they have made. With that being said, obviously, Scott and I both know Monday night is Indiana versus Miami. It's down here in Miami. Hey, if anybody's got an extra ticket or two that they want to give Scott and I, I'll gladly go. I'm not paying the ticket prices that they're getting.
How much are they, by the way?
I don't even know that I could afford to pay to park.
Well, I've heard between $3,000 and $6,000, to be honest with you. Also, I should point out, if I don't mind, Candy, please, for anybody that's up early enough, please join us for Inside the Pigskin, our Saturday edition. It's a great show. And also, Candy and I will be covering the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. We're going to be leaving a week from Monday, and I'll have a lot of good interviews on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. I'm literally looking forward to this event. If it becomes a successful event, we'll do it every year. I tell you one thing, I've done a lot with the NFL over the years with the Senior Bowl. This project here really intrigues me quite a bit, and looking forward to going up to Mobile and talking about some future prospects, making some connections with coaches that'll be looking for jobs. And we're going to probably be leaving that Monday night, hopefully to be in Alabama by Tuesday, and we'll be there in Alabama for the better part of at least 5 days. So looking forward to this event. It's going to be quite an event. And
will we be doing a show from Mobile?
Well, if Candy wants to.
On Thursday night?
I'm actually planning on doing it Inside the Pigskin on Tuesday night. You guys are late enough where you can do one. Yeah, I think.
We'll see what the setup is. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, why not? I think. Why you want to do one, Adam? You're gonna be able to make sure you come on there and shoot the breeze here in the country.
On every Thursday night. He's good about it.
I love it, Adam. I think it's cool. I don't get to work with you often. That's why it's a treat for me to come on and shoot the breeze with you, my man. It's cool stuff.
Cool.
So, yeah,
I'm all in.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We're gonna do Inside the Pigskin, Adam, on that Tuesday night later. So yeah, we like to get some fresh stuff.
What time? Because I got my show at 9.
What, your time locally?
Yeah.
I don't know. You working out with Candy? She'll make it work for you. After all, we're going to be an hour behind, so we don't really frankly care. And we'll gain an hour. So whatever you want to do, I'm sure she'll make it work.
Yeah, just take your little travel mics with you and everything else. Do you have a travel setup to go with you?
We have mics that we can take. Yeah, we can. So
set it up on the iPads or tablets, whatever.
Yep, we
That's
got all the
all
we have ones that can go even into the we have ones that could even go into the phone if we needed to, mics. So
Oh, you got one of those sets? I got one of those sets too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me tell you, Adam, I salivate when I get in there, man. Start interviewing to me. A microphone is like a kid with a lollipop. I can never have enough of it. So I'm looking forward to doing my one-on-one interviews. Yeah, I mean, we're planning to do it inside the Pigskin Show a little bit later. We just have to make sure the schedule works out with what the daytime activities, practice, and so forth.
We
Because
gotta
I'll tell
see
you
what
one
the
thing,
activities
Adam,
are.
I'm looking to make a lot of media contacts and line up a lot of good guests as well for my other shows. So every time I go on an event, for me, it's networking first and get as much as I can. It took us months before we got all the Super Bowl content up from a year ago. And I don't know how long it'll take us here, but I expect us to do well. And I'm going to find everything that I can once I'm out in my zone to bring what we have to do all the way around. And she may find certain interviews that we can put clips on not only our show, but yours as well. Then you guys can use them to focus on getting those comments. To me, it's unbelievable when you're on the road doing things. I mean, look at Jeremy. He got a taste of it. If we had got, my only regret with you, Jeremy, is we couldn't get a few more interviews, but at least you saw the one that mattered, and that was Owens. So, but I salivated at these opportunities, Adam. So, yeah, I could see us doing 2 shows because they're at evening, and most of our activities will be during the day, except for the Senior Bowl game itself. I don't know what that is.
So
It's Saturday.
I don't know if you just
Are you
noticed,
guys on the
but
field for the Senior Bowl?
you just got an email, and that's one that could be posted either in your Jaguars link or the Lions link because it's a day 3 sleeper pick that I think both teams could use.
Okay.
Sounds good. Let's take care of it. No problem. It's all good, man. It's all good for all you guys. Great stuff.
Adam, I will be down on the field because I have the photo credentials. So yes, I'll be on the field. Scott will be in the press box for the game. But yes.
Now, are you guys aren't allowed to go live on your phones or anything down there, are you?
No, they don't let you do that.
No.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure because you could have set it up and been like, "This is prime time right here."
Yep. No.
I wish.
Most of them, because of all the TV rights, you're not allowed to put any more than like I think a minute or 2 minutes, and sometimes you can't go at all live during the game, and your frequency can't mesh with other frequencies too. So they get real specific. So, but
Now, one-on-one
Okay, anything
One-on-one
else?
interviews. Well, one-on-one interviews a different game, and that's where we get a lot of our stuff anyways as well. So just so you know, Adam, how that works, we end up doing quite well. And the thing I have going with the Miami Hurricanes, even though we can't do nothing live, I'm going to tell you the stuff I get from the Miami Hurricanes is unbelievable. What I get from the opposing coaches is even bigger, considering some of the things I dealt with between Alex Golish and Frank Reich and Fran Brown, and then that list goes on and on. I do the approaching, which means about 5 or 6 funerals a year that I'm under fire. And one of the guys named Tim Reynolds from the Associated Press says to me one time, he says, "Scott, it's almost like you got your own radio show in there."
Later, Marty.
What's that?
Good to see you, Marty.
People in the chat.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
That's my jersey. That's my jersey boy.
Yeah, but I don't mind priming up the PR people so I get 3 or 4 questions in there. Miami guy likes us. He doesn't have to call on me, so you go out there and let everybody else get the day. Sorry, Candy, but I'm just trying to educate some of these people about behind the scenes stuff on the road.
Well, I know my buddy Matt, who's in Baltimore, has Ray Lewis in the works to come on.
Does he? No kidding. Interesting.
That's
All right,
awesome.
Marty. Nice to meet you.
Later, Mart. Yeah, so I mean, it's all about them little connections, But he does a show with Daniel Wilcox.
But
You ever
that being
you ever heard of
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
No,
Wait, why am I taking over
started
your
to ask
show?
I don't know.
Like running. I'm running point.
Scott, go ahead. You're the boss.
You ever heard of Marvin Powell III and Ben Troop?
I think I might have heard of Marvin Powell. Name sounds familiar.
Yeah, his son's
Yeah,
on our
name
show.
sounds
We got
familiar.
Mel Farr Jr. on our show and Ben Troop, and I'm working on some other key pro people. I'll divulge those when I get them up. When I got them committed fully, but I'm working on more stuff.
Nice.
I spend my time on LinkedIn, everywhere I can find these people. I'll find them and I'll bring them on. doesn't make any difference to me. I'll find them and we'll bring them out there. And when I find them, then mark my word, you'll get connected at some point or another. Jeremy knows.
Any
ahead,
other topics anybody wants to bring up?
I know
Okay.
Scott Warner was one of my favorite guests to have on my show.
Okay. Okay.
That was a fun chat.
Nice.
I mean, obviously I've had others, but that's just one that
Mhm.
sticks out real quick. All right, I'm done.
Okay.
Great being
Samir,
on with all.
find you.
You can find me here Thursday nights on Fire Up. You can find me on X at ATL_Samir2401. I publish a lot of articles for the site, so I promote that. Make sure to tune in. Thank you guys for checking in. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy the games, and I'll look forward to tuning in next week.
Sounds good.
You got it.
Adam, how can
Nice.
people find you?
You can get me at Driving to the Top Productions. You can get me Tuesday, Wednesdays over there, Thursdays over here. Wednesdays, if me and Rich's show finish, you can get me at Jeremy's show, Roundtable. Yeah, so you can get me on Twitter at Sports Talking It, and you can get me at Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. That's what I got going on. So I know I am not good at promoting myself, and I'm trying to get better, but I'm just not good at talking about myself. I'm just not, and that's one of my problems. But I'm getting better.
There you go. Jeremy.
Well, you can find me right here every Thursday night on Fire Up, occasionally on Tuesdays on Inside the Pigskin, and occasionally you can find me on Roundtable IO with Scott and Candy and Marvin Powell III and Mr. S Squared Scott Solomon on Roundtable IO and also this channel. Then you can find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions, where I go live at Monday through Friday at noon, Wednesday nights with the NFL Roundtable Talk at 9:30 p.m., Friday nights with the Lions Fan Cave Chat. And since the fantasy football season is over, you can catch me after free agency and draft with my Saturday night fantasy football talk show when we start talking about dynasty drafts and keeper leagues and all that good type of stuff.
Scott, do you want to add anything, or you want me to do our?
No, it's all yours, Candy. I think I've said plenty.
That's the ball up there in the middle. How's that?
That's it.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by Scott, Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media and how it has evolved and changed. It's a great read. Go get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also an audio version, so go listen to that. You can get it on Audible and a number of different places. If it's not where you normally get your audiobook, wait. We just started publishing them on some of the sites, so give it a minute or two, and hopefully it'll be there soon. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a plethora of great content out there. Samir writes, Jeremy writes, Scott used to write. It's been a while, but he writes every once in a while, so go check it out. Adam, we got to get you to write.
Listen, I barely have time, but I would like to write, but I mean, let me get my job completely fully under wraps here.
So
Gotcha.
I gotta ask you something, Adam. Are you good at photography?
I can be, yeah.
So we might have to do a double credential for me, because that's one of the guys I was talking about that I could possibly have a place to crash during the draft. He could be my photographer.
I'm out of it. That's between you and Candy. I ain't involved in this. If he wants to send it up to you, I'm out of that.
Would you
write
like to be in the media room with me?
I'll write from time to time when I have to, but right now, because of the fact, and the real reason I don't write, and I don't mind mentioning this, is unfortunately I'm dealing with the onset of Alzheimer's disease. So I'm limiting my writing right now to when I have to, and I'm trying to keep a lot in the tank to write my second book and focusing on the things that keep my mind more active, and that's on the broadcasting side. So that's where I want to keep my effort limited to putting shows together and making sure we carry them out, and then on social media. Don't worry, I love writing. I will when I have to, but thankfully I've surrounded myself with a good supporting cast that they can do it, and I can focus on my true passion and just broadcasting and doing interviews and being on these shows or wherever else I can spread myself out to. So let me tell you, I've written for 7 years. What's that?
You said that you have Alzheimer's. You have the slow part of Alzheimer's, but you just said that you keeping your mind more busier by doing the other side. Does writing just like not keep you as occupied as the other side? I'm just curious because you said it, and that really got my attention.
Yeah, really. I'll write when I have to. Okay, Adam, I will. Every once in a while, I'll put a Motor City Mad Mouse insight with 4 or 5, 6, 7 different paragraphs here and there, or I'll write something in an event that I covered. You follow what I'm saying? Because I want to do that. It's fresh in my mind. I can incorporate a video. But nowadays, I find myself putting shows together where I write down outlines like that extensive on paper that nobody can read. Okay, then I have to type into the thing and all that. He doesn't even need it. He's a robot.
I'd probably be able to read it because we probably both have sloppy handwriting. We probably
exactly. I'm with you there, man. I've been told so many times my writing my penmanship's awful, but that's okay. I'll deal with it. But I do write in that sense to prepare shows because that's how I remember things by looking at them directly. So I'll write them, but I'll write every once in a while a column here and there. But I've got enough people to do it, and I promote it. I just want the shows to be good so we can build the strongest platform I can. So this show, as well as the many others that we have on here, are obviously produced well and with the proper host. Candy's done a remarkable job on this show. Jeremy's done an unbelievable job in the system, and as well as many others. And it's good to see new, fresh talent on this Thursday night show with you, Adam, and Samir, and everybody else that participates. So I keep writing in different ways to stay busy, but I feel I've got one more book left in the tank. And my goal is to go through the outline process, you follow me, so that I can come up with one more shot when it's all said and done. And I'm going to be putting enough in the tank to do that. That's my goal in 2026, and continue to see this network grow in the manner that I can with the right personnel. And I'm so glad that I am fortunate, considering that Candy and I started this from the ground up, that it's turned out to be good. It's come a long way, but I feel we have a lot more energy and talent to even take it a step further. And that's why it's a privilege to be on a show like this, to sit in front of all you and just watch you all in action and just be guided to be a part of this. This makes me feel really good that we have this type of people on these shows. I'm proud of everybody on the network, and this group has been it's been refreshing just to sit in here tonight with all of y'all.
I want you two to meet Rich one night. That's my other goal.
Big Rich. I would love Big Rich to be here, but it's his wife.
I tried to get him on tonight, Jeremy. I did. I was like, can you come on tonight? And he goes, I'm just dead. Like he runs radio in Atlanta and Texas. They just opened a new radio station out there in Texas, and he's so flooded right now.
He's burned.
I still yearn for an opportunity one of these days to do play-by-play. I've done it periodically here and there, but if I could do play-by-play, do it. In fact, Jeremy, you know who told me I should do, ask me if I've ever done play-by-play? Is Tom Gage, a Hall of Fame sports writer for the Detroit Tigers, when I did a show with them a few months ago. I said, I'd love to do it. Never got the opportunity, but don't think it hasn't crossed my mind some. And my mentor is Ernie Harwell of the Tigers, late Ernie Harwell. So
I was a big fan of Lanny Fratteri growing up, and I had him on my podcast 3 times.
That's awesome.
I've had Ernie on a lot of my radio shows many times. It's unbelievable.
But I've never been on the radio, but I have done a little color commentary on the junior high school.
This is the new radio, Jeremy. This is the new radio.
This is broadcasting in a new way. This, right. Incorporate. And my famous line when I first started is, I have a voice for radio and a face to match.
Well, but you know what, Adam? That's why I wrote the book that I did. Basically, predicates itself about old school media versus new school media, and I use it as like a textbook format for people that are either in it or just got in it or trying to get better. Because it's yeah, because I know that the average individual that understands the business could pick a few points out of it, and it's worth the investment because the more ideas you have in your head, the better off you are. And that's why I've worked hard, and I'll be writing the second one, and eventually,
I'm just
and I'm glad the audio book is there.
I'm glad work slowed down, so now I can finally get more focused back on this because that month of November and December that was a mess. That was a beat up time for my channel. I mean, my guy
Anybody,
still carried it, but
yeah,
I mean,
any
I
anybody in the
wasn't there,
delivery,
and I
anybody in the
wasn't there. I
delivery
didn't like it.
business, and as a delivery driver, with delivering packages and parcels and stuff like that, my hat goes off to you for doing
Yeah.
what you do in those 2 months, because that is probably your busiest 2 months of the year, except for the
Right.
occasional kid's birthday that comes up.
Well, Adam, if you
We had
get my
like,
book, I encourage any feedback that you can get. It'd be great if you get it.
yeah, I'm gonna look into it. I got a tablet coming soon, so maybe I'll download the Kindle. And is it on Kindle?
Mhm. Yep.
Because like I said, like if I get the whole book, I probably wouldn't finish it. Like I said, I'm one of them people. I read and I forget to stop in the middle. That's just me. And I get so lost and I'm like, I can't. Like I'll get pissed and throw it.
Not gonna
Well,
lie,
everybody has different ways that they retain information. It doesn't matter. You pick up one pointer out of there, it's worth the investment. But that's up to you. It is what it is. I don't care.
No, I meant like reading it, Scott. I I start reading and all of a sudden I just get so into it, I just read the whole way across.
Oh, do you? Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I'll be like, wait, I already read this and I wouldn't know what's going on. And
my problem is when I start reading, if I get halfway through a book, I usually don't like to put it down. If I do put it
Okay.
down and mark my page when I go back, I'll like, wait a minute, I don't remember this happening, and then I go back 4 pages or a chapter, and then have to reread it from there. So at this point, I'm like, screw it, I'll just start over. So I actually read a book probably 3 times before I get through it the first time, and then after that, it's a breeze.
So, Jeremy, I do have one quick question for you. The book that obviously I've written that you obviously read, do you view it as a pretty good textbook?
I think it's more of a guidebook.
Okay, that's fair.
If it was a textbook, there would be more. There should be questions at the end of the chapters to make somebody
That's true.
formulate their own idea. So
Okay.
I think it's more of a guidebook for somebody that's beginning or even intermediate getting into this type of media.
That's a fair assessment. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think if
we're
you
all
created a
beginners again
workbook-
at some point.
I think if you created a workbook to go with it,
Well,
think
I had
it would.
I had another
would-
guy that I was actually looking to do it with, but he backed out, and I had to finish it midstream. So I'm looking at other ways when I do the second one. But that was something that was actually in the works when I began the project. But because the guy lease didn't get renewed in Boca Raton, he backed out, and then I had to find a way to get it done to save the project from going away.
And
The idea was there.
the type of thing that I'm talking about, it wouldn't even have to be long because you don't have a lot of, I mean, you have a lot of, not a lot of pages, but you have a lot of information in there.
Right.
You could lump like the 3 pages of your history and how you got to where you're at. You could
Right.
lump that into one section of a guidebook and ask something like, okay, how does this help you in your future of what you're trying to do? And make it an essay question type thing. Don't
I'll
make
be
it a
seeking your
multiple
input
guess.
on the next one. I don't want to have more time. I don't want to talk about the whole thing here. I know everybody's been patiently listening and staying on it. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Candy. Take it the rest of the way. Sorry. That's what happens when you get me on here. You know, things go a little longer because I'm a little on the long-winded side. Go ahead, Larry.
Before she does her exit, I want to do my exit saying, try every day to be a better person than you were the
There
day
you go.
before is the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody who's watched the show. That's Robbie, Eddie, all of you. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the football games coming up and fire up for your team.
One
What
last
is
thing
the-
that I
what is
would
the full topic of the book real quick? I'm asking for one more shout out, just so I can type it in.
Lessons from the microphone.
Lessons from the microphone.
Tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders.
One last thing, because I didn't finish our plug, is that yes, if you see the red subscribe button in that lower right hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to our channel. I have the QR code up in the top. Otherwise, it's South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. I would also ask you to subscribe to all the other YouTube channels that you see up on the top, because we have multiple people that have YouTube channels. The other channel I would ask you to subscribe to is the Chicks Podcast. Tuesday nights at 7:30, I do 3 Chicks in a Pod, or Chicks and Salsa. It's Chicks talking sports. So go check out our channel as well. We have lots of great stuff out there, as well as here. Monday nights we talk baseball. Tuesday nights we talk football. Wednesday nights on Sports Exchange, you never know what Scott's got up his bag of tricks. And then Thursday nights he's got sports rap. Thursday nights we do Fire Up. And then Saturday mornings we do Inside the Pigskin again. So check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Turn on all the notifications so you're notified every time we go live. With that being said, everybody enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the playoffs, NFL, as well as CFP. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Good night.
Night.